And a Washington, D.C. almost paralyzed by partisan gridlock, soaring deficits, and a weak economy, few people would choose the term Robin Hood to describe the lobbyists working the halls of Congress. Yet that's just the term Joe Kuklis chose. It's the title of his new book, Robin Hood of D.C. The book focuses on lobbying strategies for small and mid-sized businesses. Joe Kuklis heads Duane Morris Government Strategies, the lobbying division of Duane Morris. He's based in our region, right in Pittsburgh. Good to see you. Welcome.
Nice to see you, too.
Yeah, for folks who don't know Duane Morris, a little bit of a background about the firm and in particular your piece of it.
Sure. Duane Morris is an international law firm. It has about 20 offices here domestically and 6 international, about 2,000 employees, 300 or 400 partners. We run a division of the company called Duane Morris Government Strategies, which focuses as our core competency on doing federal, state, and local government affairs for our clients, alongside a suite of services we provide to some of them that include things like grant writing, contract procurement from federal and state agencies, some grassroots and grass-tops lobbying and things like that.
And this was the result of a merger, right? You had your own firm for about a decade.
That's correct. I started GSP Consulting back in February of 2001, and it was after a 6.5-year stint with Senator Santorum, and I was on the Hill and I was lobbied. I knew what it was like, the goods, the bads, and the uglies, and I decided to start my own firm and do something a little different, and really kind of catering to small to medium-sized organizations that did not have in-house capacity to do what we could do for them. And we ran that up, as you said, for a little over a decade, and then last winter I had a chance to merge it into the law firm.
Okay, well, it had to be an interesting transition.
Yeah, to say the least. I mean, we, you know, when you're a 21-person consultancy, and now you're facing, a 2,000-person corporate culture change and working internationally, it is truly an order of magnitude greater than what we were doing as a consulting company here in Pittsburgh. But it's been great. It's opened doors, as you can imagine, in places where we wouldn't have been able to go on our own. And the secret sauce there is, doesn't matter where the client is coming from, they always come back to the same place, which is where we are, places like D.C. or Harrisburg or other state capitals.
Very cool. Tell a little bit about the book, The Robin Hood of D.C. What does that mean to you?
Sure. So the title Robin Hood of D.C. was something that was forced on me by my publisher. He wanted to make sure it wasn't something like the ABCs of lobbying. He said no one would ever pick up the book. But as we were interviewing, going through the process of determining whether or not we would publish something, I told him a story about how my firm, GSP, was called by a competitor the one time the Robin Hood of D.C. And it was meant as an insult, but it was actually a compliment because it was exactly what we were driving towards. We wanted to help the little guy. We wanted to be there for the small and medium-sized nonprofit organization that couldn't afford K Street prices, or we wanted to be there for that startup tech company that had the next best mousetrap, and they wanted to sell that to Department of Defense or Department of Health and Human Services as they provided for the common defense and promoted the general welfare. And from where we sat, those folks were underserved or completely not served because they couldn't afford the K Street prices. And so for us, we were a way for them to navigate the government marketplace, and our competitors were not happy with the level of success we were having. So as they tried to insult me, I took it as a compliment, and now that's the title of the book.
Well, and I'm sure you're one of those little guys, small, mid-sized companies that they're promising startup. I'm sure they all think, look, this is just a money game. It's whoever can write the biggest checks to those fundraisers is going to win this. Why should I even bother? Is that a misperception? It
is. 15% of it's true. There are times where the big players have to spend the big money on projects. So the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is going to fight the good fight, for their members, and they're going to play at that level. But a small, medium-sized tech company that has, the next greatest technology, government's there to help them. They have grants for those kind of things, and those grants are non-dilutive. When you're an investor and you've put money into a firm, you want to see that money go as far as you can. And if the Department of Defense or Homeland Security or Transportation is going to step up and develop that new product and help you offset the cost of that, your money does go further, and you have to give up less ownership of the firm, coupled with the fact you get the validation of working with the Department of Defense or the Department of whatever. And I think that a lot of our clients enjoy that level of validation.
So thinking then more broadly, beyond just sort of influencing legislation or roaming the dark halls of Congress, but there's a lot of opportunity if you really know how the federal government works and you can tap into some of those resources.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the federal government is the biggest client that any of our clients can have. They always have money. You know, even in days of sequestration like we're going through now, the perception is the government doesn't have money. That's not true. They might not have $1 anymore, but they might have 92 cents or 88 cents. And that money is still competitively bid in many instances, and other times secured through, you know, grants or sole source contracts based on your ability to deliver a product.
Well, there you go. The book's called The Robin Hood of D.C., $1 trillion opportunity there if you can crack that market, right? Joe Kuklis from Duane Morris Government Strategies. Thanks so much.
No, thank you very much for having us. I appreciate it.
And we'll be back in a minute with a little more dollars and cents. Stay with us.